Now we come to the third Ariyan truth. The Buddha said that there is a state of cessation of dukkha. So the third Ariyan truth is the cessation of dukkha. And this state of cessation of dukkha is called nibbana. And nibbana is a state of no craving. Is a state of the destruction of the asavas. Asavas can be translated as uncontrolled mental outflows or defilements. And nibbana has the three characteristics of being birthless, decayless and deathless, which is the opposite of ordinary things in existence. All things in existence have the three characteristics of being born, changing of state, that means decaying, and finally death or dissolution. Whereas nibbana is the opposite, birthless, decayless, deathless. Now, in one of the suttas, the Buddha said that we continue in samsara because of three things: greed, hatred and delusion. And the Buddha gave a parable of a fire burning. And this fire is burning because of three things inside there: dried grass, dried leaves and twigs. And as long as you keep on adding dried grass, dried leaves and twigs, this fire will continue to burn, right? But suppose you don't put any more of these grass and leaves and twigs, what happens? Slowly the fire will burn up the grass, leaves and twigs that are already there until they are all consumed, and then the fire will go out by itself. So in the same way, the Buddha said, when we stop adding this greed, hatred and delusion, then there's no more fuel for the fire to burn that drives us in the round of rebirths. So that is why the nibbana is also a state where there is no more greed, hatred and delusion. Now in the Udana 8.3 and also in the Iti Vuttaka 2.43, there's one sutta where the Buddha said, there exists amongst that which is unborn, that which is unbecome, that which is uncreated, that which is unconditioned. If there did not exist amongst that which is unborn, that which is unbecome, that which is uncreated, that which is unconditioned, there could not be shown the escape from that which is born, from that which is become, from that which is created, from that which is conditioned. But because there exists amongst that which is unborn, that which is unbecome, that which is uncreated, that which is unconditioned, therefore the escape can be shown from that which is born, and that which is unbecome, that which is become, that which is created, that which is conditioned. So the Buddha is saying here that the state of nibbana exists. Now, the state of nibbana cannot be known by the mind, because it is a state where the mind ceases, where consciousness ceases. That is why nibbana can be described only in negative terms, like the unborn, the unconditioned, the unbecome, the uncreated, etc. In the Majjhima Nikaya number 72, Agivacchagota Sutta, the Buddha said, the Tathagata is liberated from reckoning in terms of body, feelings, perception, volition, consciousness, vacca. He is profound, immeasurable, unfathomable like the ocean. The term reappears does not apply. the term does not reappear does not apply. The term reappears and does not reappear does not apply. The term neither reappears nor does not reappear does not apply. So in this sutta, the Buddha is saying that the state of the Buddha, the final state, he is liberated from the five khandhas: body, feelings, perception, volition, consciousness. These five khandhas are also basically body and mind, because feelings, perception, volition and consciousness is mind. So the Buddha is saying he is liberated. That means the final state of the Buddha is liberated. There is no body, there is no mind. But the Buddha didn't say that there's nothing, The Buddha said he is profound, immeasurable, unfathomable, like the ocean. Now there are two views about Nibbana. In Nibbana, the state of Nibbana, something exists is one view. And the other view is that nothing exists because there is no consciousness, there is no body, there is nothing. Now this the Buddha calls the two extreme views. That something exists is called the eternalist view. That means the Buddha, after going into Nibbana, he still exists in some way. That is called the eternalist view. The other one, that nothing exists because he has no body, he has no mind, is called the annihilationist view. That means he annihilated, no more, destroyed. Now in one sutta, Anguttara Nikaya 4.174, the Venerable Sariputta said concerning this state of Nibbana, the Venerable Sariputta said, say not that something exists, because by saying that something exists, you bring in a difficulty where there is none. And he also said, say not that nothing exists, because if you say that nothing exists, you also bring in a difficulty. So, because this state is beyond the mind, we cannot speculate on it and say that something exists or that nothing exists. It can only be experienced by an arahant. But in the Aganya Sutta, in the Digha Nikaya, numbers 27, the Buddha said, this designates the Tathagata, Dhammakaya, Brahmakaya, Dhammavuddho, Brahmabhuta. Dhammakaya means the Dhamma body. Brahmakaya means the Brahma body. Dhammavuddho means Dhamma become. Brahmabhuta means Brahma become. So the Buddha is saying that after he passes into Nibbana, this is the Buddha, the Dhamma body, the Brahma body. Dhamma become, Brahma become. Yet the Buddha is saying that the state is too profound for an ordinary mind to understand. Now, sometimes some people think that the Buddha's teaching is very different from the Hindus. To me, it's not too different, even though some people say you want to get out of samsara. And you strive and you strive and you strive. You never get out of samsara until you can cool yourself, because the state of Nibbana, the state away from Dukkha, is called Nibbana, and it literally means a cool state. Cool state. You cannot be agitated. If you are agitated, you can never attain Nibbana. There is a sutta in the Anguttara Nikaya where a few causes for a monk falling away or failing is given, and one of it is quite interesting. One of the causes is that the monk does not reflect on the mind as free. The mind is basically freed. There's no need to look for liberation. The more we look for liberation, the more we tie ourselves up, if we don't know how to go about it. That is why it is important to listen to the Dhamma. When we listen to the Dhamma, then we understand the teachings of the Buddha is extremely important. The Buddha's disciples are called sabbakas, hearers. And before they do anything, struggling to meditate and all that, they hear the Dhamma first, listen to the teachings of the Buddha, understand before you start to walk the path. So, in the Buddha's Discourses, the path out of samsara is a very gradual path. You cannot think you want to go for a 2 weeks retreat and try to attain in a short time. It is only possible if you have undergone a long struggle before you. For example, the simile of a durian dropping. It's true that durian dropped suddenly, but it took a long time to grow from a small fruit, grow in size. It takes a definite time for it to grow in size until it's fully grown. And after that, they need some more time to ripen. And then only when it's fully ripened, then it falls. So in the same way, the holy path, all the basic groundwork must be done. It's a very gradual path. And finally, the fruit falls. There is an interesting sutta in the Samyutta Nikaya where the Buddha talked about the parable of the carpenter's adze handle. You know, the adze is an instrument for planing the wood. And when I was young, they had these adzes where you use 2 hands to hold the adze and you do the planing. But probably during the Buddha's time, they don't use 2 hands, they just use 1 hand on the adze wooden frame, and then they do the planing. And then the Buddha said, this carpenter, he uses his adze, and after a long time, he looks at the adze, the wood has got the mark of the thumb, has got the mark of the fingers, how do you say, etched into it, sort of worn into it, into that wood. So he knows by seeing the adze, the wood, by seeing the marks of his fingers there, he knows that he has worn away the wood by using the adze. But the Buddha says he does not know how much of the wood he wore away yesterday. He does not know how much of the wood he wore away today. He does not know how much of wood he wore away at other times. But he knows that the wood has been worn away just by plainly seeing that it has been worn away. So in the same way, when we cultivate the spiritual path, we do not know how much of the asavas or defilements has been worn away. For sure. But if we continue practicing year, after some time, we find our whole person change. Our personality changes, the temper goes down, the ego goes down, we become more humble. We let go of some of our attachments. We become a cooler person. Then we know for sure we're on the right path. That some of the asavas has been worn away. So it's not that you go for a short retreat and immediately expect results. It takes years and years of practice on the holy life.